Very excited to be joined by Nico Iamaleava, UCLA's quarterback this year and quarterback of the future. Announced his return to UCLA yesterday and is now ready to kind of talk about that whole thing. Nico, thanks for joining me today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
First, just general, what's your excitement level coming back to UCLA, playing in front of the hometown crowd again for a second year now?
Really excited, man. Last year didn't, or this past year didn't really go as we wanted it to. So, yeah, man, just coming to be a part of the rebuild and see what Coach Chesney has going on. And, glad to be a part of it.
So let's talk about this decision because obviously you were going to have offers. You were going to have people who would be interested in you playing again. And I know initially at the beginning of the year you were thinking about the NFL and potentially doing that. So what was your decision? What went into this decision for you to ultimately return to UCLA?
Yeah, just looking at it from a different point of view. I obviously didn't have the year I wanted to have. Just as far as me, personally, and then just the team and everything we went through this past season. So I thought it was really important for me to come back and leave the place better than I found it. You can say, but man, I think really just there's a lot of stuff left on the table that was there last or this past year, and I really wanted to come back and give it another shot.
How much were you kind of closely following the coaching search throughout, and how much did the eventual hire of Bob Chesney? How much did that play into your decision?
Yeah, man, I was following around who was going to be the next coach. Heavy for sure. Just looking at it from a development standpoint. I wanted to make sure I was in the best position to be successful at the next level. And yeah, Coach Chesney definitely. Him coming from JMU, man. He's a winner, and you can see that winning pedigree in everywhere he's been at. So that definitely played a huge part.
How much have you been able to talk to him so far? Were you able to meet with him in person when he was on campus, or has it been mostly kind of Zoom and that sort of stuff? And what have your conversations been like?
Yeah, I was able to meet him on campus when he came in and they announced everything. I got to chop it up a little bit with Coach Chesney and yeah, man, I love what he's about, man, and yeah, no, I'm excited.
And so you announced obviously on Instagram, were you able to talk to him after the announcement? And what was his
Yeah,
excitement?
yeah, I was
What was
able
his
to
excitement level?
yeah, for sure. Me and Coach Chesney, we were able to grab a few couple text messages here and there, and yeah, I was able to chop it up with him.
That's great. So when you were kind of going through this, obviously there's the emotional element and all this kind of stuff, but how key was it for you also in terms of understanding what UCLA's commitment level was going to be in terms of surrounding you with offensive linemen, other guys in the skill positions? Like, was that a key factor for you when you were going through this decision?
Yeah, for sure, man. I think it's always great to just be on the look for talent out there, and yeah, man, we're trying to bring the best guys in, and go and compete, for the national championship. So I think that was the main thing is looking out and seeing who what guys we can bring in, and buy into the culture that we're gonna build.
And is there anybody currently on the team that you're just kind of personally recruiting to return? Or are there conversations like that, or is it? And this is something I'm just kind of curious about, or is it more you're kind of trying to respect other guys' decisions and what they're trying to do, or are you trying to recruit guys at this point? Where
Yeah,
do you stand on
obviously,
that?
yeah. I'm trying to recruit guys. At the same time, I do respect their decision and what they do and what they think is best for their future. So, just having that fine medium in recruiting and also respecting the decision for sure.
Were you able to watch the Oregon JMU game this past weekend?
Yeah, I was able to catch that game, man. It was a great game.
What did you think of the JMU offensive scheme from what you saw, and how does that kind of align with what maybe Coach Chesney has told you about the offensive scheme? Is that kind of a fit for you? What did you see out of that?
Yeah, I think they play into who their quarterback is, man. They had a great dual threat quarterback, and I thought
Right.
they built the offense around him. So I think that's what they preach is them building the offense around us. Their quarterback, and it being an NFL pro style offense. And you can see glimpses of that out there versus Oregon.
When you this year obviously didn't go the way I think anybody on the team wanted, in terms of everything that happened at the beginning of the year with Deshaun, and then on through the results of various different games. Dealing with that offensive change, I mean, this was something you were coming into the year with, where you had kind of that wide split Tennessee background, and then you were coming into little bit more of a pro style scheme. How do you think you adjusted to that throughout the year, and especially then when the offensive scheme kind of changed a little bit mid-season when Coach Neuheisel took over?
Yeah, I thought I was able to adjust well. The wide splits was a little different for me when I first got to Tennessee. So just adjusting to that, and then I think when I came back, I think it was back to stuff I was used to with just regular pro style splits and concepts and yeah, no, it was definitely an adjustment, but I think it was a good adjustment for me.
With kind of I mean, obviously your year starting at Tennessee, you guys ended up in the playoffs. This is,
Yeah.
a year where, I mean, this is probably the least success you've had on a football team as a team, on the football field as a team in a long time for you personally, maybe ever. What do you think you kind of learned from this experience? What do you think you kind of like? Do you think you grew from this experience of like dealing with, I think, quite a bit of adversity on the field?
Yeah, definitely, man. You can see who your real self is when you face adversity, and I think we faced a lot of that, this past year. So I think just the whole team and how we were able to just keep fighting through and show up every day ready to work, even though we weren't getting the results we wanted to. I think even with all the coaching changes, I think Coach Skip still made us believe in what we had going on, and yeah, man, I always be very appreciative of Coach Skipper and Coach Jerry Newhouse and all the guys that with what they did when nobody asked them to. So it was just a lot of stuff that um, unfortunately happened, but I was glad that those guys were able to lead us and keep us engaged in what was going on.
I know a thing about you personally that I think impressed a lot of people, especially over the course of the year, was just your, I mean, toughness, to the point like you were taking just, I forget which game it was, where you were just taking hit after hit after hit and continuing to run the ball and everything. Where do you think that comes from for you as a player? And I mean, for me personally, looking at it as a unsuccessful season where guys aren't going to have a success, I would have a hard time continuing to take hit after hit after hit. So I'm looking at you, and I'm wondering, like, kind of where does that mindset come from to still be kind of willing to go do that for a team that's probably not going anywhere, that's not going to the playoff, that's not going to a bowl game.
Yeah, I think well, my competitive nature will always be there. Through it all, I think I'm always compete to the last whistle, and I think that's just been instilled in me since a young age. Just growing up playing multiple sports. I really hate losing, so this past year was a very hard year for me. But yeah, man, I think it's always great to just compete to that last whistle was gone.
And then I wanted to end with this, Champion of Westwood, the new agency that is supporting UCLA football. How critical were they through this process for you? And how important is it for, I think, UCLA fans to continue to help support?
Very critical, man. I'm very, thankful and appreciative of them. I think it just helps with the university and what they do for the university is it's not unseen. So I think just us continuing to have the support the support staff and us continuing to build around UCLA, I think will be great for years to come. So I think I just want to say I'm really appreciative of them.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Nico. Really appreciate you. And I know a lot of UCLA fans are excited to have you back in Westwood.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Have a good one.